few IT problems that we needed to sort. Welcome to the 2025 Afta trade show. It is the public day and we are at the Let's Fish Australia stage. Talk number one this morning on a topic that is very dear to my heart, fishing in the freshwater. And we have together a great panel this morning. On the end we have Dean, then we have Joe, we have Eric, and we have Luba next to us. First thing we're going to do is we're going to have a bit of a run through and tell me about where home is for you and the type of freshwater fishing that you do. Dean, we'll start with you, mate. Grab that mic.
Hello, Simon.
Hello, mate. You and I have spoken many times over the years, quite often, or more often than not, about freshwater fishing. Where's home for you and what's the freshwater fishing you do there?
Yeah, so I've moved to mid-north coast down at Stewart's Point, so it's between Port Macquarie and Coffs Harbour. It is such a beautiful spot. I've got the back streams of the top of the rivers, they're just loaded full of bass, so I spend most of my time chasing the fish out there at the moment. No impoundments.
Joe, what about you? Where's home these days?
Well, home's an interesting question, isn't it? So at the moment I live on the far south coast of New South Wales, and it's coastal water, but I do have, similarly, the upper reaches of my rivers are bass streams and that. But my official home waters are actually up in Darwin. That's where I grew up. So Barramundi and Corroboree, Billabong and Yasuni Grunt are in those crocodile-infested streams and all of those sorts of things. And I think the message is that freshwater, wherever it is, is bloody awesome.
It's great. You don't have to wash gear when you get home. Eric, where's home for you?
Home is the Gold Coast for me, mate.
Nice.
So I pretty much just do all the creeks, rivers and impoundments in southeast Queensland. So that's the bulk of my fishing taking up. There's plenty to choose from in this area, plenty.
Lubin, what about you? Grab that mic, mate. Where's home?
I'm from the Barossa Valley in South Australia, so my home water's the Murray-Darling Basin, so I like to travel lots, but most of my fishing's done within the Murray-Darling Basin.
Now, most of the, when I was a young fella and got into fishing, I knew there was fish in freshwater, but I didn't really know it was something that you could go and do. Saltwater was what it was all about. So the question is, Dean, why freshwater? What is it about the fishing there that really ticks the box for you?
Yeah, see, I grew up fishing all the freshwater impoundments, obviously with my father being so involved in the lure fishing in the impoundments. So that's pretty much all I knew to start off with. It wasn't until I got obviously older that I discovered, the saltwater fishing. But for me, the impoundment fishing is pretty much where my heart is, that's for sure.
Joe, what is it about the fresh that really floats your boat, as they say?
Yeah, look, I think it is a lot about accessibility. It's about the fresh water is there. It doesn't matter if the surf's up, if the wave's up, if it's choppy, if the wind is blowing, you'll be able to walk somewhere that's a little bit more undercover. If you're not fishing in croc-infested waters, then there's not too much to worry about. So accessibility is a really big one, and slightly safer conditions if you're not on the alpine waters. And other than that, just the country. If we're out on the surf, we've got a horizon to look at. If we're on the freshwater, we've got everything to look at.
Yeah, I quite often say fishing is the sum of all the parts. It's the fish, it's the waterway, it's the scenery, it's the wildlife. What is it about the fresh down in South Australia for you, mate?
I just think the Murray-Darling Basin is one of the greatest river systems in the world. It's the bird life, it's the scenery, it's the fact that you've got the chance to catch one of the biggest freshwater fish in the world. My nana was a really keen river angler, so I think it's actually in my blood.
So a bit like Dean, it was those family roots that sort of drew you to it.
Yeah, and like Joe was saying about the accessibility, I could ride my bike down to the local creek, catch redfin, so that's really what got me onto fishing. So I think that sort of, freshwater start has sort of made me, love it even more as my fishing has continued.
One of the things that can prevent us getting into fishing or styles of fishing is barriers to entry. If you want to go catch marlin, you need an offshore boat, you need a big credit card to pay for the fuel bill. Just jumping on your bike and heading to the local creek is something that's really accessible, even for young kids. Eric, what is it about the fresh that does it for you? And you're pretty blessed in this part of the world. We've got some good fresh water here.
I'm very, very blessed in this part of the world, and the Gold Coast and southeast Queensland is an amazing spot for fishing. For me, it's just getting away from the crowds, having my own space and being able to do what I want to do in my own time. That's what the freshwater is for me, doing the impoundments and just floating down the rivers and creeks by myself or with my son or whatever. So, yeah.
Well, one thing I always like to try and do with these talks is give the people here listening little bits of nuggets of information that they can take away and apply. For the folks who have never got into freshwater fishing, and this will apply to the area that you're from, give us a tip for somebody who wants to start. They may already be a saltwater angler and they want to make the transition into freshwater, or they may just be a newbie and have never fished before. Eric, we'll start with you. What is a tip that you can give somebody here that they can take away with them when they want to go on their first freshwater trip?
Okay, so probably the biggest tip I could give would be lure selections and things like that. So you don't need anything drastically deer or anything like that. You can literally go down to BCF or Anaconda or any of the other stores and pick up a spinnerbait, a 3/8 spinnerbait, and you can go to any creek, any river, any dam and throw that spinnerbait, and you're in for a chance with it, for sure.
Dino, what about you? You know, you mentioned that you grew up with your dad. Your dad was a seasoned impoundment angler. What are perhaps some of the impoundment or non-impoundment tips that you can give folks who want to go and, you know, for example, in this part of the world, go catch your bass? How do they get into it?
I think more or less the river side of fishing, like the streams, is where you're casting. I know when you're